In a beautiful kingdom surrounded by lush green fields and sparkling rivers, there lived a kind and gentle girl named Cinderella. She was the only child of a wealthy merchant and his loving wife. From the moment she was born, her parents adored her, showering her with love and care. Cinderella's childhood was filled with laughter, warmth, and happiness. She played in the gardens, ran through the halls of their grand home, and helped her mother with small tasks in the kitchen. The household was full of life, and the servants adored her for her kindness. Her mother always told her, "Kindness, my dear, is the most important thing in the world. No matter how others treat you, always keep kindness in your heart. But happiness is fragile." And Cinderella's world was about to change. One winter, Cinderella's mother fell gravely ill. No doctor in the kingdom could cure her. And despite Cinderella's prayers and her father's desperate efforts, her mother passed away. Cinderella's heart broke. She cried for days, feeling lost without the warmth of her mother's love. Her father, too, was devastated, but he knew he had to stay strong for his daughter. Years passed, and though Cinderella never forgot her mother, she learned to smile again. She spent her days reading, learning music, and caring for the household. Her father, however, felt lonely and longed for companionship. One day, her father announced that he had remarried. His new wife, Lady Tremaine, was a widow with 2 daughters, Anastasia and Drizella. Cinderella was hopeful. She thought she would have a new mother and sisters to love. At first, Lady Tremaine acted kind, but Cinderella soon noticed her cold, calculating eyes. Her new stepsisters were spoiled, rude, and selfish. They never played with Cinderella and treated her as if she were beneath them. Still, Cinderella tried to be kind. She believed that with time, they would become a happy family. Everything changed when Cinderella's father died unexpectedly during a business trip. With no one left to protect her, Lady Tremaine revealed her true nature. She took over the house, sold Cinderella's belongings, and forced her to sleep in a small attic room. "You are nothing but a servant now," Lady Tremaine sneered. "Since you are so fond of cleaning, you shall do all the chores." From that day on, Cinderella's life became one of endless work. She scrubbed floors, washed dishes, mended clothes, and cooked meals, while her stepmother and stepsisters lived in luxury. Her only companions were the birds and mice who lived in the house. She named them and spoke to them as if they were her friends. One day, a royal messenger arrived with an exciting announcement. The king was holding a grand ball in honor of the prince. Every young woman in the kingdom was invited. Excitement filled the land. The stepmother and stepsisters squealed with joy, dreaming of marrying the prince. Cinderella's heart filled with hope. "May I go to the ball, stepmother?" she asked politely. Lady Tremaine smirked. "If you finish all your chores and find something suitable to wear, then perhaps." Cinderella worked tirelessly, but her stepmother kept giving her more tasks. Cinderella found an old dress that had belonged to her mother. With the help of her animal friends, she patched it up and made it beautiful. On the night of the ball, she put it on and walked downstairs. Her stepsisters gasped in jealousy. "How dare you wear something so lovely?" Drizella shrieked. With evil smiles, they ripped the dress apart, tearing off the ribbons and beads. Lady Tremaine watched in silence, amused. Cinderella stood frozen in shock, then ran to the garden in tears. As Cinderella sobbed under the night sky, a warm light appeared. "Do not cry, my dear," said a gentle voice. Cinderella looked up and saw an old woman in a sparkling cloak. "Who are you?" she asked. "I am your fairy godmother," the woman said with a smile. "And I am here to help you." With a wave of her wand, she transformed a pumpkin into a golden carriage, mice into horses, a rat into a coachman, and lizards into footmen. Then, she waved her wand again, and Cinderella's tattered dress transformed into a breathtaking gown of shimmering silver and gold, with delicate glass slippers on her feet. "Now go, my dear," the fairy godmother said. "But remember, the magic will wear off at midnight." Cinderella arrived at the palace, where the grand ballroom was filled with dazzling lights and music. The prince had been uninterested in all the other ladies, but when he saw Cinderella, he was captivated. He walked straight to her and said, "May I have this dance?" Cinderella's heart fluttered as they danced across the ballroom. Everyone watched in awe, wondering who this mysterious beauty was. As Cinderella and the prince danced, the clock began to strike midnight. "Oh no!" Cinderella gasped. "I must go." She ran out of the ballroom, dashing down the grand staircase. The prince ran after her, but she was too fast. As she fled, one glass slipper slipped off her foot. She didn't stop to retrieve it and vanished into the night. The magic wore off, and she found herself in rags once more. But she held on to one hope: the glass slipper. The next morning, the prince ordered his men to find the girl who fit the slipper. Lady Tremaine heard the news and locked Cinderella in her attic room, hoping to keep her hidden. Anastasia and Drizella tried desperately to force their feet into the slipper, but it was too small. Then, Cinderella's mouse friends stole the key and helped her escape. Cinderella arrived just in time. "May I try?" she asked. Lady Tremaine sneered. "Ridiculous. She is just a servant." But the messenger allowed her. Cinderella slipped her foot into the glass slipper, and it fit perfectly. The prince arrived soon after. When he saw Cinderella, he recognized her instantly and smiled. Cinderella was taken to the palace, where she married the prince in a grand wedding. Her stepmother and stepsisters were shocked but could do nothing. Cinderella forgave them but never let them mistreat her again. She became a beloved princess, ruling with kindness and wisdom, just as her mother had taught her. And so, Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after.